Welcome, wandering souls, to God damn it, Kyle, you got the giggles and you threw me off immediately. I looked down and saw you giggling and I'm like, it got me instantly out of the gate.
Welcome, serves right for mumbling Macbeth.
Yeah. Welcome back, wandering souls, to this evening's edition of the Black Rabbit Society, a Call of Cthulhu actual play presented by Table Quests. A word of warning before we go any further. This evening's entertainment is a horror story and features adults using adult language and possibly discussing adult themes. You've been warned. Before we get into much else, we also have some thanks to go through. First off, our very own Joel, who you'll see playing one of the roles this evening, runs fantastic Ravenloft campaigns as a professional dungeon master. You can find him at StartPlaying.Games/GM/leonidas-games. We also have a Wednesday D&D game that's tomorrow night with some of our own cast members returning. It is chaotic and fun and weird, and make sure you don't tell any of them that I have fallen behind a little bit, so I don't actually know what happened in the last 2 sessions. They don't need to know that, though. There's no way they could know. Our art, which also you should be seeing around, was provided by Peter Edgar. You can find his work on Patreon at The Dungeon Sketcher. That's got capitals at the start of each word, and otherwise it's just kind of one big thing. There's no spaces, no underscores, anything like that. If you enjoyed this evening's entertainment, it'd be awesome if you subscribe and keep up to date on all of our stuff. Also, if you've got one of those fun little Twitch free subs things through Amazon Prime, and you wanted to try it out on us, that'd be pretty awesome. We had a couple of huge outreaches from fans and stuff recently, and that's been really awesome and kind of intimidating. So we're gonna try to keep upping our game, trying to make it a better product for y'all. Better product, that's impersonally. Better entertainment, a better little improv session storytelling. So it means a lot for everyone watching and everything you do for us. And before I go on and become too emotional, let's introduce our players for this fete soir. We have Joel playing Herbert Francis Devenald.
A pleasure, thank you.
Ben playing Tommy Cole.
Feeling a little dirty now, I'm a product, but yeah, thank you for the support.
I mean, capitalism. Everyone's a product. Drew playing Horace Charles Young.
Good afternoon.
Drew playing... Nope, just did that one. Kyle playing Dr. Raymond Fox.
I hope we've all had a good night's sleep.
And Kendra playing the forever mononomatic Olive.
Hello.
She's pneumatic now?
I'm singular named.
What's that, monosyllabic?
No, monosyllabic is a single syllable.
Not monosyllabic.
Mon-
She is also not a machine. Which would be
I did fall
mononumatic.
back into my real accent for a moment there, because I don't let anyone know about that, because it's a real bad rural accent. Someday
I want to hear this accent.
I cannot go back into it on purpose. I have to listen to people who talk in the old way, and I'm like, right, I have to do those things. but it's a lot of for sure, eh? And yeah, no. Yeah,
Real
no,
accent
yeah.
reveal at 500 subs.
Oh yeah. I'll have to get my parents to call and just be like, yeah, we're gonna have a couple of drinks and we'll just talk, and I'm like, got it again. Last time we were down the Professor Devenald, who got a phone call and ran out of the hotel room, leaving the rest of his compatriots to meet the Ernst von Cartwright, one of the richest gentlemen of the city. And they had a very interesting dinner with conversation, assault, bribery, threats, intimidation, and seeing that the whole world is starting to change and shape underneath their feet. Driven to what they felt was a position of few choices, Horace, Olive, and Tommy drank the mysterious liqueur that had been provided for them by Mr. Von Cartwright, and have a better idea of what happened that one fateful night at the Black Rabbit. But before we get caught back up with them, we need to answer what happened to Professor Herbert Devenalt in the meantime. And we'll start with his phone call in the hotel room, already in progress.
Yes, hello. This is Herbert Devenalt.
They found her. They found her, Miss Mary Williams from the Black Rabbit. You went missing.
Oh, she's been found. That's wonderful. Where is she now?
We need your help. She's at, it's weird. So someone saw her at the 14th Street Civic Theater. She's barricaded herself in one of the private boxes. Apparently she has a ticket for the private box. I don't know where she got the money for that, but we need your help. I don't know what to do. I'm heading there myself. I'm just outside. Like I'm on the corner. I'm just calling from a phone there. Sorry, I don't know. They won't tell me entirely what's going on. Something's amiss. Edna's over in Brooklyn. Someone said there's a lot confused going on. We're interested in she's gonna hurt herself or someone else.
To clarify, I'm out of character. I'm speaking with my granddaughter Dolores. Is that correct?
Yes.
Of course. Dear heart, just please don't go into the building without me. I'll be there as soon as I can. Just wait outside. Promise me you'll not go in until I get there. Promise me.
I won't go upstairs. I won't go anywhere near the private box. If she runs off again, I need to at least know which way she goes.
Very well. I'll be there as soon as I can.
I'll meet you in the lobby.
If anything seems strange, you leave.
Okay.
That's a good girl. I'll see you soon.
Please hurry.
Of course, dear. All right, so I will immediately run out of the toddle run out of the hotel and flag down transportation.
It is no issue at all to find a cab. 14th Street's not too far away. You are able to get there within minutes. It's a bustling place. There's a decent-sized crowd outside. You can hear the blaring of music and stuff inside. So whatever's happened hasn't disturbed the show. It appears that it's still ongoing. But
I see.
There is a police car outside, and there's evidence of at least two officers you kind of see at a quick glance outside, kind of keeping half an eye on the crowd.
Piling out of the taxi as quickly as I possibly can, I will pay the gentleman, being sure to give him an extra nickel for his time, and rush in. I'm sorry, I'm looking for my granddaughter, Dolores Tillingist. She is about so tall, with shoulder-length brown hair, and a young girl, about approximately, and looked to be 18 to 20.
Grandfather, here.
Oh, there you are, there. Are you all right? I will immediately begin checking her to see that she has no injuries of any kind.
You can roll me a spot hidden.
Yes, I can.
Yes.
I can make her stand still and hold her arms out and say, "Now stop it. I need to make sure you're all right. Can I push?"
You can. Okay, hard success. So you are able to, mostly through just force of personality and will, kind of get a little bit of a clearing in the crowd. There is kind of a press of people coming and going. It seems to be that it's in the middle of intermission. A lot of people are grabbing their drinks. And she's not injured in the slightest. She looks a little bit harried. It looks like she's been running. But you also notice a distinct bulge underneath her coat. One that is decidedly unladylike, but certainly suggests that she has a pistol of some sort.
I will look at her and cock one eyebrow. What do we have here, dear?
We have someone needs to go dealt with. We can deal with whatever else concerns you have afterwards. She's barricaded herself in. I think we can talk her down.
Yes, of course. But if
everything we saw the thing in the newspaper about the patient who died at the hospital, and you and your friends have been out of sorts. So I'm just
Dolores,
caution. I don't know what the police are going to do.
Lori,
Yes.
I have no qualms with you carrying a pistol for your own defense, child, but if something goes sideways, do not engage with it. Leave this place.
I would always run if that's an option. I know that well.
Good girl. All right, well, off we go then. Let us save your friend.
So she leads you upstairs. You're in that kind of top hallway around the private boxes. Not nearly the crowds up here, and you reach near one of the ends. There is a small cordon of 3 uniformed officers, kind of standing in the hallway. One's yelling in the door, which he doesn't need to be able to get through, and he goes, "Listen, Missy, it's just we're going to be breaking this down pretty soon."
Hold on there, gentlemen. I'm a family friend of this young woman. I believe that my granddaughter and I can probably assist here without need for any violence or destruction of property.
This is who I was telling you about. This is my grandfather. He's a professor. He's with the university. He knows about things like this. We think we can talk her down.
Quite right. Step aside.
And Cop kind of rolls his eyes. All right, look, if it's going to be too much of an issue, we're going to be just busting the door down.
I'm sure there'll be no issue.
If you say so. And they give you all some room. 2 of them are maintaining the cordon, so you're not going to have other people running up at you. And Dolores leans in close and she goes, "Do you want to?" She knows I'm here. I talked to her a little bit. She seems upset about something. Do you want me to talk to her? Do you want to talk to her?
I believe I may have more insight into what's disturbing the young girl than you, my dear. And I will lean in close and knock quietly. Mary?
The doors need to close and then we'll be safe. They need to stay closed. Gotta close the doors.
Young Miss Williams, this is Professor Devenold, your neighbor from upstairs.
Yes, upstairs. There's 27 steps and there's 4 doors between us, and then it's not nearly enough. You need to close the doors, leaving them open even just a bit. The potentiality's too much.
Do you recall, Mary, not less than a week ago, I was to attend a performance of yours at the Black Rabbit?
Yes.
My dear, I would like very much to discuss the happenings of that evening with you in a safe and secure place. If I think we probably have much to say to each other, don't you, dear?
I have to go on stage soon. Performance coming up, and then maybe that'll be enough. Maybe that'll close the doors. I
Well,
remember the
wonderful.
fire. Fire.
Fire, dear?
It burned down.
Ah, yes. Yes, there were some very serious burns among those who were affected by the events of that evening, weren't there?
There was, yes.
And are you quite all right, my dear? Were you burnt?
I wasn't, no. I was close to the door. I got out in time, but I saw it. I saw the thing, and they said they couldn't see it. It was behind the curtain.
Yes. Many strange, disturbing things happened that night, didn't they, Miss Williams?
If I can just finish the performance.
Well, here, dear. Dolores and I are here to help you get prepared for your performance and to ensure that it goes off without a hitch. Let us in. We'll close the door right away behind us and allow us to assist you.
Is Edmund there? Edmund can't be there with you.
I look around. Is there an Edmund here?
Dolores looks at you and she's like,
Are any of the police officers named Edmund? Who is this Edmund she's speaking of?
Dolores leans to you. I think she knows him from. I think he goes to the university. I think they met out at some. I think he met down in Greenwich or something.
A gentleman caller. I see. No, dear. Edmund is not here.
Good. Edmund can be on the other side of any door. He can be on any side of the door. You need to move quick. You have less than 3 seconds.
All right. I'm ready to move quick and spry. Come on, dear. Open the door.
She opens the door.
Yes.
And are you just bustling through?
Yes.
So you catch the glimpse as you and Dolores you get through. Is Dolores coming with you or not?
Not if I can help it.
Yeah, you can kick the door behind you.
Wait out here. Make sure that the police do not bother us, dear, and then we'll close the door.
So you see that Mary has a cleaver in her hand, and she's filthy. She's covered in soot and blood, and she has in her other hand what looks like it's like a mask or something that's dangling from she's holding like a ribbon, and it looks like there's like a ceramic mask dangling from it, so you can't see what the mask's of. She goes, Professor, I think I'm in trouble.
My dear, I think both of us may be in trouble, but with the grace of the Lord, I'm sure we can get through this together. You look as though you've been injured, dear. Are you sure you're not hurt? And I will very carefully move toward her and see if she'll let me check her for injuries.
Yeah, her grip tightens on the cleaver as you get close, but she kind of lets you give her a once over, and it looks like none of that's her blood. It looks like she hasn't slept in days, and she's filthy, but she looks physically fine, other than exhausted and harried.
Okay.
She goes, I couldn't sleep over there, and I couldn't find a way back.
Of course, my dear, of course. I understand entirely. Myself, I was remitted to a hospital against my will, along with a handful of others who also experienced the happenings of that night.
I saw you get in a car. You got away. You got away and it still got you?
I'm right as rain, dear. I'm right as rain. Apart from, well, it would do my heart quite a lot of good if we could move somewhere, perhaps a little safer, a little less, maybe a little less frightening to the public. I gesture to the cleaver.
You don't understand. I don't know.
Help me understand, dear. Help me understand.
I don't know how I got here. I don't know how. I close the door. I don't know where Edmund is. I think he's after me. He was there. He was the one.
Edmund is a student at the university.
I saw you shoot him. He didn't die. He stabbed him and he didn't go down. I've seen him since then. I was somewhere else, and I don't know. I don't know if I can leave. I don't know if I can leave and not go back there.
Well, we certainly shan't be returning there. In fact, it's not even an option. Take it out of your mind, dear. What we can do is take a taxi cab to an associate of mine has a very nice rental at one of the hotels closer to Midtown. He's quite well off. Perhaps you can have yourself a bath, and we can keep an eye on you and ensure your safety. Safety in numbers, my dear.
Okay, I just in case, and she grabs a folded piece of paper and she shoves it in your hand. She drops the mask to do so. She goes, okay.
I will also bend over to pick up the mask.
Okay. It is a pretty basic mask. Looks like it's made of a ceramic or something. And it's just like a very featureless face. There's holes for eyes for the person to see through, and kind of like the vague features of it's kind of a nose, but it's more the impression of a nose, and there's no mouth or anything. It's also filthy. It's covered with a reddish mud, maybe it's heavy with clay.
Like a clay. Mm-hmm.
Just we can go now. Your shirt.
Yes. What is this? What is the import of this sheet of paper you've handed me, my dear?
I took it from him. I grabbed it from his notes on the way out. I don't know.
From Edgar?
Edmund,
who is a student from the university.
Yes, from NYU.
From NYU?
Yes.
I see. And is he a suitor of yours, my dear?
No.
How is it that you knew the gentleman?
He was the one who was making decisions for who got to perform that night.
Ah, he worked at the Black Rabbit, did he?
I don't know if he worked there or was just hosting for the night. I don't know.
I see. But you took this from him.
Do you not remember?
I'm just trying very hard to make sure that I understand what you experienced, my dear. We all have our own perspectives of the night.
The thing they did, the ritual, it was part of the notes for it.
Ah, of course, the ritual notes. As I look over this document, what do I see? It's very faded. Greek letters, it looks like, perhaps? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Clay. Spirits, it says, I think. Is this... No, specifics? It's very difficult to read.
I don't know. He has terrible writing.
Well, we'll have to look this over, and again, I have some associates that may be able to help us make sense of it.
Okay.
And I will tuck it into the inside of my jacket, in a pocket. Now, why don't you, at the very least, put your knife away in your purse or under your coat. I don't think that anyone will be comfortable with you walking out into the theater covered in blood and carrying a large knife, dear. The police aren't likely to look kindly on that.
Can I just hold it till I get through the door? Please.
Until you get through the door.
And I'll give it to you, or I'll put it down, or whatever.
Well, why don't I go through the door first and you come in right behind me, but you keep it hidden.
Okay.
In your hand, but hidden. And as I look around, does she have a coat?
No.
Okay. And what is she wearing?
She is wearing what looks like a stage garment. She's got like it looks like a pretty basic robe or something. Like kind of like the thing you'd have for like a cheap play. Not like a fancy robe, like, we got a piece of fabric and we sewed like a couple of little bits into it just to give it the hint of a shape.
Okay.
And to have like a neck hole.
I am going to take off my overcoat.
Okay.
Not my suit jacket, my overcoat, and put it on her.
Okay.
And button it all the way up to the neck.
Okay.
Professor Devenold is quite a small man, so I imagine it's not oversized on her at all.
Not particularly, no.
All right. Here, look. There's a large pocket here. Can you put it there and feel free to you can put your hand in here right between these two buttons and you can have access to it if you need it.
Okay.
All right, are we ready?
Yeah.
All right behind me now. I'll open the door and 1, 2, 3, we'll go right through and close it behind us. Are you ready, dear?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. And I fling the door open.
Yep.
And as I bustle out, sort of reaching behind me to hold her hand, I will say, Dolores, close the door, please.
Yep. And Dolores kind of stands there and
Quickly, dear, come on now, close the door.
Look, turn around.
And if she doesn't, then I will turn around and reach for the door.
You turn around and Mary's not there.
Could I feel her hand in mine?
Yeah. And then it was gone.
When was it gone?
Roll me a sanity.
Asking too many questions.
Things what humans were not meant to know. Success. It was only a moment before Dolores said, "Look behind you."
Okay. I will bustle right back into the room. Mary, dear, where have you gone?
There's no sign
Miss
of her
Williams?
or her coat. And Dolores goes, "Grandpa, she..."
My coat's gone too?
Yeah. She...
Can I check over the balcony?
Yeah. People are streaming back into their seats. They're getting ready for the intermission, and you still hear Dolores kind of going, she... Grandpa, what's happening? What happened to her?
I'm I'm not. I'm looking for her anywhere in the theater. Do I see any sign of her?
Nope. None.
Okay. I will slowly turn around and look at my granddaughter.
What happened to her?
What do you mean, Lori? What did you see?
It's like she was... It was like when you light a piece of paper on fire and it burns away, but without any fire. She just kind of burned away.
So you did see her?
Yeah. And she crouches down, and she's kind of like feeling at the carpet where the thing is. And she's like, what? What's happening?
There is evil at work in the city, my dear. Beyond that, I do not have any more information. But this is precisely why I do not want you to become involved. For whatever reason, the Lord has already seen fit that I should be involved, and I have no choice, but I'll not be losing you.
I have a friend I can stay with up near Boston.
Yes. I think that would be for the best.
You be safe.
Of course, dear, of course. And you keep that little pistol, just in case. If anything along the lines of what you've seen here tonight, or any other unexplainable circumstance shows up where you are, I want you to let me know immediately. You have my number. If you can't reach me at home, you can reach Dr. Raymond Fox at, what hotel was he staying at again? Such and such a hotel, room number 72.
If you need to find me, I'll be staying with Lucy Palmer.
All right. When you get there, call me. If you can't reach me at home, reach me at the hotel. Leave a message for me there, and perhaps also leave a message with Mrs. Williams.
Okay.
Don't worry about letting her know about poor Mary. I will be the bearer of bad news. There's no reason for you to take that on your shoulders, my dear.
Okay.
All right, around what time is it?
So it was gonna be a late dinner. So it's about, by this point, it's about 8:39. And I figured the rest of the professor's evening would be comforting a mourning woman before collapsing into his own bed.
Quite right. Well, given that, I would take my granddaughter home with me and get her to sleep. Perhaps go so far as to offer her a finger of whiskey, though I wouldn't have any. And in the morning, see her to the earliest train to Boston that we can find.
Yep. She's ready to go, as it were.
All right. You call me as soon as you arrive.
You
let me know the number and the address where I can find you.
Yeah. You take care of your friends and make sure they take care of you.
Of course, my dear. Of course. Go on, then.
Okay. I need you to make sure that doesn't happen again. Just not anyone. And she gets in the train.
Christ almighty, what is happening in the city?
Well, the professor figures out if he's going to be rejoining you imminently or if he's got other steps to take care of yet. Let's get back to the morning in the hotel room. If I recall correctly, none of you were experiencing any especially adverse effects from the night before. And you had been left with a person knocking on your door who you recognized as the other known survivor. And he goes, I hope this is the right room. I'm not good without my eyes yet. What would you say if I asked if you've been to the Black Rabbit?
Well, you found the right room, because I couldn't say one way or the other.
Well, that's one of my concerns dealt with.
My name is Raymond Fox, and these are my friends. What brings you to my suite?
I understand we experienced the same thing, and I think we need to stop something. I'm not sure what, but you've been up and about longer than I have, and I figured I would lend myself in whatever way I could.
Thank you. What is your name? I don't know.
Oh,
if we've met.
of course. No, I don't think we met on the night of. It's messy. But my name's Figaro Bordetella.
Well, please come in. Have a seat here. I can show you to a sofa. We were just finishing breakfast. Would you like a coffee or?
No, thank you. I ate already. Yeah.
Well, Figaro. In the suite with us is Tommy, Olive, and Horace. We all were at the Black Rabbit that night, or so we think.
Community content. Community content.
Okay. I hope that you're all able to deal well with this. I'm not sure how much you have in your memories. What's going on? Has anyone else noticed that it's a mess?
Oh yes, it's quite confusing. Actually, we're not entirely sure what's going on. What, if anything, do you remember from that night? We can compare notes.
Yeah, and how did you find us here? Who told you could find us here? I'm saying that with my baseball bat still in my hand, even though this guy is blind.
Yeah, I remember I was holding a baseball bat too.
Yeah.
Yep. Because the doctor gave me where you were staying.
At the hospital, when you woke up?
When I was finally able to get blood out, yeah.
I indicate that I'm holding the baseball bat in a little, very subtle way. But I say, and you spoke to the police as well?
There was Detective McGowan?
Ugh.
He seemed
Detective
mad.
McGowan, clearly a pilot's fish. Yes, we know him.
What did you say to him?
I told him I didn't know who set the fire. I didn't know what was the cause of it. I know there was I told him that there was some sort of play or performance or something that caused a kerfuffle, and then violence broke out from various people fighting and the like. I don't know. I didn't tell him the truth, if that's what you're concerned about. I didn't tell him I saw a man who wouldn't die.
Wait, am I missing something? McGowan knows about the Black Rabbit.
Well, I told him I was at the Black Rabbit Cabaret.
When you said that, he was like, "Oh, I know that place."
I'm not certain. I don't know.
I need you to be very. I do want
Why
to
would-
intimidate this person, but like I need you to be very clear about what you told McGowan. or this
Yeah, I don't think you
conversation.
understand. There's 2 baseball bats pointed at you right now, so you better start talking.
Oh, okay. I'm confused how one points a baseball bat in a violent manner, but I
Hold it between us.
told him about the Black Rabbit, and that's where we were, and he said so wherever it is has a name. I would like to cooperate. I don't understand the issue.
We're a little jumpy, is the thing, Figaro, as perhaps you can understand. What do you remember of that night? You said you saw a man that wouldn't die, and Raymond will look to the others, does that ring any bells to any of you? Because he hasn't drank the memory juice.
Didn't drink the Kool-Aid. Oh, yes.
I remember that, and then I remember getting out and the night air and looking up, and this will sound stupid. I remember seeing an impossible landscape and things, colors, sounds I'd never seen before, and I ran back in. I don't know what came over me to run back in, but it turns out running into a burning building is a poor choice.
Just for my own benefit, does he look as injured as he did the other day?
But yeah, he doesn't have eyes. He still looks in a brutal state of affairs.
Oh, I feel really mean about pointing this baseball bat at him now.
I
He didn't see, did he? So I just sort of like look at Olive, like put it back down again.
I don't. I keep holding my baseball bat.
Figaro, would you be so kind as to allow me to escort you into a separate room so that my friends and I could have a bit of a candid talk? We're, well, a bit paranoid, as it were, and after we've had a bit of a chat, perhaps we can all share what we've learned so far, if anything. Would that be all right with you?
Of course. Lead the way.
Thank you.
And well, just while you're moving to the room, for the professor, were you planning on heading back, or were you gonna go another line of inquiry?
No, I think that I need to return to my companions and give them this new information. And I'm quite interested to know what they've learned as well.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yes.
I will. Oh, cool. Yes, you'll be rejoining them soon.
Great, then Raymond will kind of escort him into one of the side rooms and get him settled and maybe perhaps put a wax cylinder on or something for him. and then head back to the others and say, we got to interrupt before I could really ask. What happened when you drank the juice? You just slumped over and were completely passive for the entirety of the night. Did it work?
Oh yes, we saw just about everything. At least I did.
Raymond, you don't want to drink that juice. It was
Unpleasantly unhelpful.
Noted. I'll put it off as much as possible.
Good. Yes. We need you awake and refreshed for everything that's going on.
I mean, I remember some things now. I think we all do. I'm a little concerned about Horace.
Well, there's no reason for that, I don't think. I can see quite clearly. My mind is sharp. My attention is broad.
You know, it might be good. Horace can see really bright and Raymond cannot see so bright because, one person, he sees too much and then the other person, he doesn't see anything at all. And then it's like...
No. There is only benefits to sight. Didn't you see? Don't you know?
See, so we don't need two of them acting like this. So, maybe Raymond, you be the sound of mind and Horace can be the sight of mind. Ooh, that was clever. Good job, Olive.
Speaking of sight, though, what are we going to do about our friend in there?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, that's convenient as hell. Why has he just turned up out of nowhere?
Yeah, and is this guy really even blind?
And has anyone that's offered to help us so far seemed in any way trustworthy whatsoever?
Oh, I got
Raymond!
Oh, yes, Professor. Please, come in.
Quickly, close the door behind you. Close
Okay,
it.
all
Quickly,
right.
close it
Yes,
behind you.
and he'll slam the door shut. Professor, you're back.
I'm
Professor,
all here.
Professor, it's wonderful to see
Good.
you.
You can all see me? Yes.
What is
Yeah.
that? Can you be invisible or
Do
something?
you still have your arsenal of weapons?
That I'm aware of. I left most of them here with you, Mr. Cole. You've taken good care of my possessions, I
We left
assume.
your weaponry in my suite the whole night.
I'd like to see it, please.
Yes, and I'll show him to the duffel that he brought in of miscellaneous guns.
Does everything appear to be shipshape?
Everything has been untouched since you last saw it.
Very good. So, how was everyone else's evening? Did we find out anything of import?
We found out a great deal, I think. None of it...
I watched a young woman disappear before my eyes.
What?
Rather, my granddaughter did. I simply felt her grip fade away from my hand as we walked through a door.
Oh.
I'm sorry, what was the last bit of that? Again?
I'm sorry, what was that, Mr. Young?
You said it was as you passed through the door.
Yes, quite. I suppose as she passed through the door, we were walking through together. I was in front of her, and she was there, and I was holding her hand. She was covered in blood, and carrying a very large cleaver. The police were there, and then she was gone.
Gone just without a trace? Just disappeared?
Vanished like a poof of fire and nothing there. Not the smell of smoke, no ash, just gone.
Who was it?
Young Mary Williams.
Another person connected.
Yes, apparently she remembers seeing me there that night and had what seemed to be, at cursory inspection, a fairly full memory of all of the events of that evening, including a gentleman by the name of Edward, Ed something or other, a student from NYU, the lesser of the universities here in the city, who she was quite afraid of coming through a door and taking her away. And then we walked through a door and she was gone. Oh, she gave me this. I can't decipher the handwriting very well. It says something about, well, here, you all can have a look, and maybe you can make more of it than I can. I've put my granddaughter on a train to Boston. She will be not staying in the city until whatever it is that is happening has been resolved. She was also there last night and saw this poor woman disappear. I really don't know what to do.
The poor thing.
I will proceed to sit down on the bed and take my hat off and put my head in my hands, and breathe.
Okay, let me get this straight. There's a big thing in the sky that's chasing us, and we can disappear. We can disappear through doors, and birds are watching us, and
I'm sorry, a thing in the sky.
yeah, it's a whole
Yes,
thing.
Professor. We have found our Leviathan.
I'm sorry.
Yes, it's just out there. Just outside. Just look up. Can hardly miss it.
Is it a dirigible?
No. No. It is.
I will cautiously walk to the
Unimaginably
window
vast.
and look up.
You can roll me a spot hit.
All right.
You see, it looks like a normal day. It looks like there's some cloud cover kind of blowing in. It might rain later. And you're kind of looking out there and you don't really know what he's talking about. And then you kind of see almost like a ripple across the sky. Which you wouldn't even have noticed if you weren't looking for it. Just kind of this moment. It's easier to see at that point where kind of the cloud meet, like the edges of the clouds, because you have that contrast versus across the wide open blue, you wouldn't be able to, like, you wouldn't have enough to see it.
Do I have any understanding or grasp on what that might be?
Whatever it is, you have no immediate thoughts. Professor, do you have natural world?
I have 10 in natural world.
You can make an occult roll.
All right.
Different information than you could have gotten from a natural world.
Certainly. A hard success.
Hard success. You have read a great deal on all sorts of esoterica, and there's an entire like, what's I'm looking for? Discipline on the various angels, on various things like that, and traditional angels before you get the more modern interpretations of the more human are often bizarre looking creatures. Things of eyes and flame, things of invisibility, things that don't operate on the same rules as humanity does, which makes sense for angels. And John Dee did a bunch of work into his various ways to contact them. And one of the things he described was he would often use a scrying tool of some kind and would describe kind of these shapes, these ripples moving across it. That would be the sign of something there. So it reminds you most immediately that of something is definitely there. And based upon the size of that ripple, whatever it is quite big. You also...
I see.
Also, how well read in fiction is Professor Devenant?
Reasonably.
Reasonably? So, about, I think if my math is right, about 26 years prior to the time we're playing, a little book came out about a man who turned himself invisible, called The Invisible Man by Mr. Wells.
Yes.
And it's same idea of there is some talk in that about how light turns and how you could partially see an invisible thing. You kind of those hints of it, but you don't. You know, you're kind of grasping at things a little bit directly. Like you'd likely need some more information to kind of collate to get a more definitive thing, but those are kind of the main threads you're getting from. It would not be unreasonable to deduce big invisible thing with everything else you've seen, but other deductions or other inferences you want to make from that are up to you, the player, and the character.
How high up would I be able to guess that it is, and how big are we talking?
Both very fair questions I didn't properly answer before. High up, it's hard to get a definitive distance because you're looking so far. It gets higher than any of the tallest buildings in the city, lower than the clouds.
Okay.
As for size, half the size of Manhattan to bigger.
Is there a chair at the window?
There is not one directly to look out the window. It would not be particularly difficult to move one to be able to sit and look out the window.
No, I will attempt to sit down and fall on my ass.
Okay.
Dear
Professor,
God, what is that?
That's our Leviathan.
are you all right, Professor?
I don't believe any of us are, Doctor. I don't. Do you see that? Do you see that? Mr. Young, you saw it, yes?
Oh, quite closely, yes.
It's almost like a heat wave is rising off the city. Up there. Do you see that?
Oh, is that all? Horace will walk over to the window, a perplexed look on his face.
Horace, you can roll me a sanity.
I mean, worthless to me at this point.
We're losing Horace.
It's not doing me much good.
The important sanity is the last one.
Oh,
Hard success.
No, it's fantastic. Roll me an intelligence, please.
Oh, no. Hard success.
Oh.
I was doing some reading on insanity, and apparently you want to fail some of those intelligence rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're gonna try a fun little aside thing of
Uh-oh.
we're now gonna do Horace, we're gonna do one of your memories.
Oh, nice.
So you went to school in remind
In what's that, sorry?
me. Where did
remind him.
remind me where Mr. Young went to school.
Over, like for his psychology or just in general? Like as a child?
Oh no, higher education.
Oh, gotcha. Any higher education would have been in Switzerland? Switzerland.
Okay. So the academy over in Switzerland, Germany, Austria, about the time you were there, is out there. They're doing some awesome stuff, kind of across the gambit. And it would be kind of a hobby of you and your friends to go see lectures that weren't necessarily within your area of direct expertise. Just, experiencing things, seeing how other people view the world, gathering other lenses. And you remember one time being taken to an engineering demonstration on radio waves. And, it's crazy. It's sound going through the air, electro waves, electricity, and how you can alter things. And you're kind of standing there after the lecture, and they have this apparatus set up. It's kind of it's some boxes. There's things to like wind stuff up. There's wires and cables, and one of your colleagues leans into you and goes, "Do you think that there's any way to detect like a force from these waves?"
I suppose I would have no idea.
Well, imagine for a moment if it was that it was like the water. Yes, the waves, they come and they go, and it pushes, and it forever is altering what it contacts. Beaches get eroded and shaped. But I cannot help but think of whether these waves would do the same thing over time, or whether they would be able to move things, to alter things. Wouldn't it be fascinating the kind of impact this discovery could have?
Oh, I'm certain it will change our lives at some point or another. But the physical implications are minute, I would think, compared to... Consider what were to happen should these waves, perhaps inaudible, but nonetheless visible, existing, were to pass across the human body. What impact could they have on perception, on the mind even? such things while not consciously understood.
Aha! Insightful as always. Insightful as always, Horace. I wonder if not only that, but they'd literally alter the mind. There's some way to shift things such as that.
Perhaps to suggest that our minds are built of the same structure as these waves.
Or it could be affected both directly, such as listening, or through it being pushed. It's fascinating.
What if such influence could work the other way? If our minds could push against the waves of the air?
Very interesting. Very interesting. The other question then becomes as well whether one could imagine how echoes work. How sound bounces and you can hear it back. If there'd be some way to use a device like this to suss out things from great distance or see things one couldn't otherwise.
Even perhaps a more esoteric version of psychoanalysis.
Oh, certainly.
Consider thusly transmitting a thought merely to be reflected back to you. What further insights could you gain about yourself through the observance of oneself as an other?
Well, I certainly think that this conversation would benefit from coffee and pastry.
Oh, you're a genius.
Excellent. So, Horace, you can only see the ripple, but you are struck by the memory of what Cartwright said before. If he could detect these alterations, and you are now struck with a need to determine if you can see this thing.
The push, the pull, waves. Can the window open?
Yes.
Enough that he could lean out the window.
Yes, it is a slide up.
Right.
It is such that to keep it open, you are like, there's a little piece of wood. You kind of. Whoop.
He will fling it open and even just use his body to
Horace, what are you doing?
prop the wood. I just need to get a better look.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna hold on to
Craning
Horace.
his neck out the window.
Pretty. Just grab the scruff.
You know it's there, but you can't see it.
What the thing seen itself, the effect the thing has on ripples in a dark water.
Yeah, I don't think we need to be looking for this thing
Waves of an
anymore.
object beneath the surface. No. It's right there.
Horace, what are you gonna do when you find it?
I will see it.
Mr. Young, you can't see it now with the window open.
I see. No, I can see the ripples, right?
The ripples to all of you has it's petered out. They're not.
Okay, but it was there.
Yes.
Okay. For a moment, imagine, if you will, the world as the surface of a lake. Yes? The movements all of us create through it, ripples on the surface. Imagine then something beneath the surface were to move suddenly. What is it we would see living on the surface?
A disruption.
A disruption,
a
waves. Yes. Water pushed upwards, and that is what That is what I see. Saw
Yes.
must see again.
Yes.
That which was deeper, farther beyond us. Now,
Wait, that was another rip in the hole, like a hole being ripped.
no. Not nearly so intrusive, more delicate. If this is the mark of the thing beneath the surface, the fold, a breaching of a whale.
A being or beings that exist beyond our existence, the celestial, the infernal.
They exist to us as we exist to a two-dimensional figure in art.
Those things created by God before our earth and ourselves.
If you will.
But what are we gonna do about the blind man in the bathroom?
Right, yes. I forgot to mention, Professor, the bandaged figure who was unconscious in the hospital with us. Well, he's up and about, and he came to visit us, and he is
John
in the parlor.
Doe?
Yes, his name is Figaro.
Figaro.
And he's he's in the other room. And we were just talking about
How?
what it was that we were going to do. He's shown up in the spirit of collaboration.
How did he find us?
That's what I'm
The
saying.
doctor
That's also
apparently
what I said.
gave him my address, the suite at my hotel.
Weren't we supposed to meet another gentleman last night before I departed?
Yes, I was working my way around to that. We did in fact meet with Ernst von Cartwright, and
Yes.
we've learned several things. Well, Ernst apparently put the advertisement out in the newspaper because he's been in the process of researching the instances of things that he calls folds. That's the folds that Horace and Tommy were mentioning a moment ago. Folds are what happens when reality flexes and overlaps and loses pieces. This is all very vague. We don't know anything for certain about how it works.
Yes, like this. And he takes a piece of paper out of his notebook, and then a pen. Pushes the pen through the paper, and then as it goes through, he then creases it like so. Like this. As Leviathan pierces through the fabric of this, it pulls the fold closer together to compensate for what it has torn away.
I see. And Mr. Cartwright is researching this phenomena.
Yes, he has a personal motivation. His son was apparently taken in a fold some years back. We've learned some more from him, and we haven't really discussed whether we consider him trustworthy. But all the folds so far, and I believe he said there were 5 of them, have happened on Manhattan. So we are very close to where these events are. The folds have further strange phenomena that accompany them. In addition, there are apparently changes in physical artifacts of truth. Say newspapers will change, or I believe we've seen the evidence of one of such folds in the fact that the Black Rabbit Cabaret is not where we thought it was. It's not anywhere at all.
And we can barely remember it.
But Mary had quite a strong memory.
That was related closely to something he said about the few previous survivors that he had interacted with. Almost to a one, any survivor that he had talked to previously either forgot entirely what it was or went mad. And he did.
She was disturbed. She was very distraught. I don't know that she had gone insane.
I mean, you said she was holding a meat cleaver and a theta. That's,
She
not
had
exactly sane.
Something about
since that
Edmonds.
night.
You said she was talking about someone called Edmonds.
A student, yes, a student, Edmund or Edward or Ed something. I can't recall. I shot at him apparently.
Oh yes.
But
Professor, I think you shot at a few people.
I'm uncertain. Perhaps all of the bullets missing from my revolver were all aimed at this Ed person.
I remember something about trying to stop some people doing something. They were trying to do some kind of ritual.
That's what she said this document was about. Something about a ritual.
Can I have a look at that document? Can I reach out?
Of course.
Because this looks like it's trying to describe some kind of artifact. It's describes how it needs to be made of clay, I think. And that it needs like more attention to detail. It's about 9 inches long, so it's a small block of clay.
She had this in her hand as well, and I'll pull out the porcelain mask. There is some clay-like soil rubbed into it.
Tommy, Olive, and Horace recognize the mask as one worn by one of the supporting actors in the ritual.
Supporting actors in what, sorry?
The ritual.
Oh.
And while that percolates, that's a good time for a break.
Right.
Back into it, but if you're enjoying what you're seeing, you can always subscribe and be up to date on all the stuff we do. But now back to our investigators comparing notes and trying to figure out their next step.
Yes, Ernst had some other things that he had observed about folds. He noted that they're generally confined spaces. Actually, all that he had discovered were confined spaces, either a room or a building or the fold that encompassed the Black Rabbit was, according to him, the largest that he had observed to date.
Which is why multiple buildings are not where they belong. I see. So there is a being with the ability to twist and change reality. Hovering above Manhattan Island.
Or
That's what we're all agreeing with. Do I have that right?
It seems to be
Well-
concentrated on Manhattan. That's what he indicated. But if there were people performing a ritual the other night, then that could explain why there are so many more around here. If there's someone actively trying to cause something, what am I saying? This is madness.
No, you're quite on the nose there, Mr. Cole. Someone or someones are clearly trying to invite hell to Earth, and we need to find out who it is and stop them.
I don't know that it's necessarily that these instances are anything other than semi-random. Ernst seemed to think that there was another shadowy group out there. He didn't have any details, of course, and he was somewhat vague on this particular topic, out there also investigating them. And that's thus the subterfuge of his advertisement. But related to that, I think that there have been several mentions of some play, of staging something. Did you say something that your neighbor's Mary was part of something like that?
Well, here, this mask, she was carrying this. It does have some kind of a clay-like substance, red soil of some kind on it. I don't know. Mr. Cole seemed to believe that the document that I handed to him indicated the need for such clays.
But also, this mask was worn by some of the people performing the ritual.
Is that familiar based on the instance of the drinking of the liqueur, the memory enhancing beverage? Was there a play in that event also?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was during a performance.
What concoction are you speaking of?
Well, when we parted ways with Ernst, he retreated back to his own manor, which has apparently a shielded space that is unaffected by such folds. But he left with us a liquid that he claimed would bring back the memories of the nights that we all had lost, and I didn't drink it. I stayed out as the others did, and I observed them. Nothing really,
Good show, Raymond. Good show.
Nothing really to observe from my side, but the others all, they saw something.
What did you see?
It's not our best selves, Professor. If what we saw is what we experienced, then we were at the cabaret, and then this performance started, and we felt compelled, needed to stop it. Absolutely desperate. I killed one of them.
In self-defense, I'm sure, Mr. Cole.
In a way, it felt like it was, but not. I don't know if someone watching it would call it that. We just attacked them while they were performing this ritual.
Well, to be fair, Tommy, he didn't die. You know, we all kind of shot him and did stuff to him, and I don't think he really was a human, so you're in the clear for that one.
Who is this that you're speaking of?
One of these masked fellas that was doing the performance.
Everyone attacked one man.
Yeah, why didn't we attack more than one? Why we all gravitated towards this one guy?
Shortly thereafter, everyone else who was part of the performance fled, and he kept chanting.
Yeah, he wasn't too bright. He kept staying, while we were all shooting at him, so.
There is a connection that I think that I've just made, perhaps. Do you remember my mention of the strange telegrams that I had received from an ex-girlfriend that she's going to send in 2 weeks?
Yes.
Well, what if these folds, they're also capable of folding time in addition to space? And the reason I bring her up is because I managed to get her on the phone while the others were passed out in their delirium, and I talked with her. She had no memory of sending me telegrams of any particular, at all. But she did mention that she's working on some French play. She couldn't remember the title of it, but she was gearing up to stage it.
Not a fan of French entertainment.
I'm sure a little ribald for you, Professor. No offense, but I do fear that this is an awfully strange coincidence, that the events that you saw at the Black Rabbit that night and Tabitha's getting looped in. What if the play is connected somehow? What if it is the ritual? Because we also found. Wait a minute, Edmund? Ernst Cartwright's son's name is Edmund, and he disappeared in a fold where they were performing some old book that they thought was a textbook, but was actually a series of plays, of vignettes. The rest of the book was a mathematical treatise.
So he claimed, because someone else said that he got the book by other means.
Yeah, he was lying. Ernst gave the book to Edmund. Edmund didn't find the book by himself. So what if they're in on it together and they're pulling the wool over our eyes?
If Ernst handed his son this book to go and get lost in a fold and then what? Trap others?
What if he can control the fold? What if he, I don't know, some powerful something or another was like, hey, you want power? I got power. Who wouldn't say no to power?
Well,
Quite right.
But we've got something of a correlation. The plays and the folds, they're linked chronologically. They happen one after the other. And I think that if we want to go and talk to Cartwright, that may be our next step. But I think that we may need to get in touch with Tabitha and go see her and perhaps try and put a stop to this play before it's staged. If nothing else, if we're too late, we'll be there when it happens again, and we'll be in horrible existential danger, or we'll learn something.
Once we start learning more about this, I feel like we can't turn back. So are you guys sure we want to go down this path?
Miss Olive, if someone is truly trying to let the darkness into a world of light, then we have no choice but to try to stop them.
Yeah, it's not exactly like this route's filled with paths.
Yeah, I'm only really good at punching things, and I don't know, some people call me a people person, but that's neither here nor there. How are we gonna stop like a whole thing in the sky and
stop the play before it begins?
Okay.
It's got some momentum after it gets going. You've seen it for yourselves now. We have to stop them from beginning. I think that Tabitha's in danger. I think that we need to go to her.
If your friend is in danger, then you certainly will have me by your side in any efforts to stop her.
Thank you, Professor.
What about our blind friend in there?
Oh, I wanted to try something. If you guys are ready for him.
I am.
Nothing violent, I hope.
Me? Violent? Come on, Professor.
Yeah, nothing violent, Olive.
Of course not, Miss Olive. Of course
Of course
not.
not. Come on, who do you take me for?
But in actuality, nothing violent.
Don't.
Hey, I'll even leave the baseball bat here. I'll place my baseball
Yes,
bat
yes, you
on the
will.
bed.
I pick up the second baseball bat.
Looking sharp, Tommy.
Okay, here I go. No violence. He's in a closed room, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you put her in one of the bedrooms.
Miss Olive, if
Yeah. Wait, no,
Perhaps-
Professor, it's a really good idea. Don't worry.
perhaps just don't go through the door.
You want me to go?
Maybe just open it, but don't walk in.
Oh, I gotcha. I'm gonna open the door, and I'm gonna like crouch down and roll through the door.
Not what I meant.
Okay.
I will rush to the door and ensure that she is on the other side.
Yep.
Thank God.
Didn't walk.
What was that? Hello?
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna stand up and be like, "Oh, don't mind me. I just forgot something in here." And I'm gonna like reach for something near him, like not going towards him. And then at the last second, I'm gonna like jump at him, like as if I'm about to punch him, and see if he reacts. I want to test if he's really blind.
So you need a stealth roll to not
Okay.
make a bunch of noise, because someone hearing like a noise moving up to them is still gonna react.
Yeah, that's fair. Stealth. There you are. Yep, okay.
Cool. He falls off the bed
Ah, I knew it!
as he kind of tries to like move away from you. The rest of you kind of hear all of do the like sneak, whap 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 along the floor. And he's like, "Is everything okay? I heard, what is happening?"
You know what's happening. Let's drop this little game, Mr. Figaro, if that's really your real name.
What are you talking about?
You're not really blind, are you?
Okay, he goes, he starts to undo the bandage. Olive, you want to roll me a sanity roll?
Okay.
Cool. You're not gonna lose any, but his eyes have melted.
Oh.
He has no cornea, no eyeball.
Just empty sockets.
Yeah. And there's just brutal burns all across the bandaged part of his face.
My condolences.
At least the doctors provide wonderful medication.
Yeah. Well, we're ready for you out there if you wanna. And I'll kind of like try to help him up.
Okay.
Or
yeah.
perhaps we could ask our questions while you sit there on the bed. No need to come through into this room unless it's necessary.
Professor, you're
Okay.
right.
I'm quite fine, just taking reasonable precautions.
What reasonable precautions?
Did you not hear me tell you that Mary Williams disappeared in a gout of flame when she walked through a door?
Professor, yes, we heard that, but what was your urgency at getting the door shut when you came into my suite? What was that all about? Is there some danger around leaving doors open?
If a door is open, then something can come through it.
That is disturbingly similar to what Mary said, specifically that Edmund might come through it, whoever that young lad might be. Perhaps Mr. Cartwright's son.
So if you open a door, an Edmund might show up.
Or take you through it as you walk through yourself, perhaps.
Unless anyone stops me, I'm going to go look out the front door. of the
Like,
room.
what do you? What front door do you mean?
Like up to the suite to going into the corridor.
yeah.
The door into the hallway.
Yeah.
It all
Open that
looks
door and have like a good look up and down the corridor.
fine.
I
You
don't-
see your maid kind of pushing a cart. So you were cleaning. She's going room to room.
What purpose do we have in leaving all the doors open? Oh, I've got quite a chill. Could we close them, please?
I'm just checking where.
Sorry, old man, old bones, you know?
I close the door again, nodding at the cleaning lady.
Okay. You said you had questions.
Yes. Yes.
I'll try to help. I only awoke late yesterday.
Figaro, well, I've managed to convince myself that we very shortly need to spring into action to try and prevent something like what happened at the cabaret from happening again. And, well, we can catch you up on what we've learned along the way, but if you come with us, it may lead you into some not inconsiderable danger. You offered to be of whatever assistance you could, and I think that perhaps at baseline, you sharing with us what you do remember and any specific details about when things started to go wrong that night. And then perhaps if you're feeling bold, you could come with us.
I mean, to answer your second point, I would certainly be interested, but I'm unaware how much help I'd be able to be. The night of, though, there were a few performances beforehand. A guitarist or something, a comedian, and then a troupe went on stage in silly robes with masks and stuff. And they set about on specific spots in the stage. It seemed really important to that. And they started chanting or speaking a language or something. And oh no. Goodbye, Drew.
I'm sure he'll return.
They took great pains to make sure they were in specific spots. And they started chanting, and then someone rushed the stage with a knife. I'm not sure who. And then Bedlam broke loose. The world started to feel off. And it was like there's pressure building in your ears, and you could taste copper in my mouth, and I ran when I saw that, and that the man he didn't go down. He didn't seem. I saw his blood, and he didn't seem to be affected by it at all. And I ran outside, and I saw the sky move and the world move, and we were under a different sky. And then I remember seeing people fleeing, and someone lit the fire, and then I ran back in. I couldn't deal with what I saw, and I thought, I don't know what I thought. I think I was thinking that there might be an answer to it. There might be something better inside. There might be a way out. But I don't know.
Do you remember anyone involved in the performance? Could you point one out? Could you give any indication who one might be that you might know? I just feel like they might be our only link to work this out. That
But
doesn't involve.
the poor man has no eyes. How would he be able to tell who was performing and who wasn't?
Yeah, Tommy, how is he gonna do that?
He had eyes at the time.
Raven's gonna, excuse me, and he's gonna step aside to make a phone call.
Oh, I thought you were gonna bail me out. Oh, okay.
Nope. I'm gonna throw a bucket of water on you.
I was just trying to ask if he knew any of them, and then just oh no.
He had eyes at the time? Not helpful.
He could just say to his face.
Horace is not in a sensitive frame of mind.
He could recognize.
Is there
the
anyone that
voices
you could
of the
describe
chanting.
that was in the ritual that maybe we could look into? Any distinguishing features of any of them you can remember that might help us in some way?
I think some of them were from the university. I was an astronomy student, and I know some of them were talking about that. People were talking about being part of it. So I don't know for certain what they were thinking. I don't know for certain who any of them were. I don't know. I don't think I could ever forget that voice of the one at the center of it all.
Well, that could actually prove helpful. I'm sorry for doubting you, Mr. Cole.
It's okay. And I'm sorry, Figaro. I've recently had to see some of the events of that night, and I appreciate it's not difficult to think over them. So thank you for trying to help us with this. Do you remember getting involved in the fighting?
I don't think so.
You were found with us, good man. Do you know any of us? I suppose the question would be, do you recognize any of our voices?
I think maybe I remember being pulled from the fire. I assumed that was one of you, and then that's where things become difficult for me to follow. I remember coughing and the smoke and the pain, or the roar of an engine. I think we were in a car at some point. I remember having to run, but I don't know for certain.
A car.
My car.
Raymond, somehow we found ourselves in Central Park, which is not close to where we believe the Black Rabbit to be. Could your car be somewhere parked on the side of the park? Parked on the park, you know what I mean.
Yes.
Somewhere near the lake.
It very well could be, and that is close to where we were found. So if we took it from the cabaret to Central Park, it could be around. I had presumed that, well, we had not made it back to my car, but if you remember riding in a car, very well could be mine.
I certainly can't afford an automobile. Can any of you?
Recently come into some money, but not at the time.
I could barely afford going to the Black Rabbit.
Can I psychology check this Figaro to see if he's telling us the truth?
Hmm?
Okay.
Very truthful.
Okay.
It's really hard to tell if someone's looking you in the eye or not when they have no eyes.
Yeah, you just read his eyes. Oh, wait.
The window
What
to the
expression does his face give? What impression does the expression on his eyeless face give you, Olive?
What was that?
When you look into the gaping holes in the center of the man's face,
Okay.
do you get the
Professor.
impression that he's being truthful?
Yeah, if I never seen a man with no eyes, they've all been truthful to me. Is it hot in here?
You guys have interacted with other human beings before, right?
Professor, I don't remember you being quite that cruel.
I'm not trying to be cruel. I apologize.
He still has his ears, Professor.
Listen, I'm just saying,
Quite right.
it took us drinking some strange concoction, which, by the way, we just drinking some random juice from Ernst, who's definitely behind all of this. He wanted us to remember. For what reason? We need to find out. But I lost my train of thought in that monologue. Oh, right. So I don't trust him because how can he know everything when we didn't?
I don't think he does. I think that he's, well, we didn't really.
He knew a lot more than we did starting out.
True, he knew more structurally about the folds, but not about this particular instance of one.
How?
He's blind, not deaf. He's
No, we're talking about Ernst, not.
But how did he lose his eyes?
In
How is he burnt so horribly, so immensely horribly in one small place? To
No,
the
he has
degree
burns
that his
everywhere.
eyes have been removed from his head, and the rest of him is not so badly wounded.
no, he's
Figueroa?
wounded all over.
Figaro, do you want to drink some alcohol that will make you remember that night in perfect detail?
Covered in burns.
That's what they've been. That's what they've been. The Molotov cocktail. I don't know if it's called that at this point.
Oh, whoops. My bad.
Or at the very least, the result of it.
I wasn't aiming for your face, Mr. Figaro. Sorry about that.
Just splash him with alcohol?
No,
No,
it was
no.
really that Olive lit the fire.
Oh.
Yeah. There might have been a Molotov cocktail thrown. I looked really cool doing it.
He's gonna stand up, and he's got his cane. He's just trying to like navigate out now.
I'll get the door for him.
Okay.
No.
I'm not listening. He wants to leave. We're going to let him.
Yeah, let's barricade him in the room. That'll go
We're not
well.
kidnapping this man.
No, of course we're not. Of course we're not. But
Or we're kidnapping this man.
going through doorways doesn't seem to be a very safe proposition at this current
What do you
time.
care about him and his safety?
Just because the man has been horribly disfigured doesn't mean I don't care for his safety.
If it makes you feel any better, Professor, I shall test the doorway first.
Yes,
It doesn't make
Yes.
me feel any better at all.
Whereas we'll open the door,
Just fine. Everything's fine.
step through.
Everything's fine. Herbert,
Figaro, as I escort you out, is it possible we could get an address just to make sure that we can check on you occasionally?
I'll be staying at the Y. up on the Upper East.
I promise that'll only be in the occasional welfare, just while we're all trying to get through this.
Of course. Herbert, you can give me an occult roll.
Okay. I can do that. Where is my character sheet?
I don't know. Did you lose it? Is it gone? The ether has it.
It's gone into the fold.
Turns out Herbert's been gone the whole time.
Okay, I've got to reopen it. Here it is.
He just didn't realize it, so he could still talk to us.
Okay.
Herbert, you've made a deduction about the doorway issue. The reason it was an issue for Mary, based on what your compatriots have said, is because Mary was part of the ritual, and it hasn't seemed to have affected any of the rest of you at all. So being directly involved in the ritual appears to have a different effect than being around the ritual and affected by it.
I will walk through the door.
Yep, just fine.
I will sort of jump back and forth between the in and the out across the threshold.
Mm-hmm.
Professor, if this is some sort of complicated method of attempting suicide, please desist.
No. I've had a bit of an epiphany. I believe that our young Mary was pulled through because she was involved in the summoning of this great evil. I believe that so long as we remain forthright and of good intention and do not become involved in bringing whatever it is that exists on the other side of these doorways here, that we are safe to pass through such portals without risk. I can't promise anything. We're a bit in strange waters, I would say, but I have a strong suspicion that this is the case. We should go help your lady friend.
Yes. I'll call Tabitha and try and delay her and find out where exactly she is.
I'm at home.
You said something about working on staging some French play.
Yes.
Where is that being staged?
Well, it's going to be staged on Broadway.
And when's opening night?
Saying next spring? March, April? You were asking about it. I did look through my notes, but I saw the name. I've always been bad with French. It's a répétition d'honneur.
Interesting. Oh well. Thank you for looking into that. Be well. Sorry to intrude again.
Okay. I'll make sure to get you a ticket.
Please.
Okay. Just gonna hang up.
Yeah. Ramondel kind of. The play she's working on, not opening for several months. The spring. So. Also, I have a name of it. Repartee d'Aliner. Perhaps it's. Repeteur d'honneur. Ah, yes. Well, since the timeline on that seems to have relaxed somewhat, I can stand down a little bit. What do we say we look into this mysterious book that Ernst supplied to his son and then lied to us about supplying to his son, that perhaps is a problem?
Big problem.
Do we know the title?
Of that one, let me think. I don't think he mentioned. What we could do is visit him. You could meet him and ask him yourself.
We know where he got it from, though. He got it from the Little Red Bookstore from a Russian gentleman.
Oh,
So I say, we can go question him.
I suppose any lead is as good as another at this point. Do we know the address of this bookstore?
You know it's on Book Row, so it'd be a matter of, you know, it's the right street, and you'd walk until you see the signage. That word didn't want to cooperate with me.
Should we attempt to stop by the park on the way and see if we can find Raymond's vehicle?
I would love to find my car. Yes, could we please?
It would
Yeah,
make
okay.
moving about the city significantly simpler for all of us.
Yeah. Is that the next order of operations then?
I'm sorry, what was that, Mr. Cole?
Oh, I was just going to say I could also feed a bird while we're at the park.
Yes. Yes, you could.
Are you a particular fondness of park birds, Mr. Cole?
Just trying to keep something normal in my life.
I see.
If you recall, park birds seem to have a fondness for us.
Yes. Quite the reason I'd rather not gather their attention.
Well, it seems we have their attention anyway. We may as well get on their good side.
Well, I mean, I've been building a, kind of a reputation with the birds of the park. I go feed them every morning, so they know me. So,
When you are in the wilderness and you gather the attention of, I don't know, a mountain lion or a grizzly bear, typically you don't want to gather its attention any further.
it's a bird.
Perhaps the birds are simply upset that they've missed a day, several days now, of Olive's feeding.
Yeah.
Yes,
It can't be ruled out.
And to be perfectly frank, a visit to the park, perhaps would be good for all of us. We've been cooped up in my hotel suite for, all of a night and a solid portion of a full day now, and we seem to be getting a little bit stir crazy. Let's go get some fresh air. Take a walk in the park.
I think you're right there, Raymond. I think I need the fresh air.
let's try to find your automobile.
Central Park is reasonably well populated. The usual midday bustle is there. Some people are grabbing their lunch. Some people are generally about. They are freaking out with their music. Oh, and deciding the volume's gonna go just zoop zoop doop. As things are relatively normal in the park. Tommy and Olive can go on their ornithological endeavor, while the rest of you look for the car.
Can Horace be while they're walking, looking for patterns in the sky?
Patterns in the sky, 100%. Is there any particular... How do I put this? Is there any particular methodology or approach Horus is taking? Or is it just kind of like generally sky watching?
Partially that, partially when he gets to a point where they're, because I imagine that we're kind of on the edge of the park, right?
Mm-hmm.
Looking for a parked car. When they reach like a street, like trying to line up the sky with the edge of a building, and trying to judge if there is any ripple or anything of that distortion like that.
Yeah. So you take some time in that, and it looks like by this point the clouds are definitely blowing in. It looks like you'll be definitely facing a storm this evening. And Horus is able to determine that kind of between the clouds and the buildings that you can kind of catch every once in a while. It's not like an always thing. And it seems less obvious, less common than earlier today, and fainter. You also are able to tell that it doesn't... the ripples don't go around buildings right now. They're not affecting buildings at all. It's only up in the sky.
Mm-hmm. And it is though the same, just like kind of almost like heat waves, like ripples in the air.
Yeah, or like it's the light is almost like curving slightly.
Gotcha.
Like you might see, which is it's the same phenomenon physically, just more of like it's a slightly different presentation, more like light going through a glass of water or something.
Right.
So it's still refraction. It's just like a slightly different refraction than just heat waves.
Mm-hmm. Wunderbar.
Tommy and Olive, would you like to make some sort of roll or rolls for your ornithological endeavors?
What kind of role would you be asking for? Sorry.
I mean, likely a spot hidden, although if you had some sort of skill related to animals, animal behavior, animal care, that would also work. And may even get you different information.
No, I think I'm gonna have to go spot hidden.
There are no birds in the park. There are none. There's the signs of birds. There's pigeon droppings. There's, all the evidence that birds should be here. There are no birds. As you're actually walking around, you see like one or two other people like also kind of like looking around. There's a little old lady like with some bread, and you see she's kind of tossed some, and she's also just kind of like looking around.
Oh, I couldn't find any birds when I went outside at the hotel either. I haven't seen any birds all day, actually, Olive.
Well,
Not since. And I kind of nod a little bit upwards.
but who's gonna take care of Fred and Ricky and Jeremiah?
Guess maybe they're in one of the folds.
I'm not smart enough to know what this means, but I don't like it.
Rain, Professor Herbert, you are easily able to find the car. Actually, it's 2 roads over. Remember how cars work. The right front light is smashed. There's no broken glass here, so it happened somewhere else. And your otherwise though it looks fine
How is it parked?
on the side of the road in a parking spot.
It's not like diagonal over the sidewalk or anything.
Nope.
Okay. Oh, Professor, my car! Oh, fantastic! And Raymond's just gonna sit down in it and try and turn it over.
I'm going to immediately begin looking for anything that might be related to that night somewhere in this car, under a seat, under a blanket, in the boot, anywhere at all.
Yeah. So, going through that list, the car kind of it has a little bit of like a dodgy first turnover, and then it gets to life just fine. It is, it has all the evidence of it's been sitting out in the street for days. Usually you have some blankets in the back, but there's none. There is a small little stain in the back seat that you would suspect, given its shape and color, is blood. The boot is empty. There is a faint smell of smoke in the car. Like campfire type smoke, not cigarette type smoke.
And nothing else, no flyers or, I don't know, a coat or a hat that doesn't belong to any of us. No clues whatsoever.
I know my car. Is there anything amiss?
Is there anything amiss? Most of the stuff is gone. Raymond, would you have a first aid kit in your car?
I think that as far as I could go to say is that you're right. I would probably have some blankets and a spare, and this is ridiculous, a spare tuxedo.
Ooh, a spare tuxedo. Spare tuxedo's still here.
Okay.
Most cars would have, calling it a toolkit is a bit over generous, but right, like cars are a little bit less reliable than modern ones. So that is gone. Looks like it's been ransacked. There's any sort of like if Raven's the kind of person, like there's any receipts or anything you have in the car, that's still there. Any cloth or anything is gone. There is some faint, like, hints of blood here and there, but it looks like, kind of in a panic, people took fabric from the car, like a blanket or whatever, and just, like, wiped it off in, like, a mad dash.
Well, Professor, the only thing that I can really glean from the state of my car is that, it was ransacked, and we were, if it was us who drove it here, I presume it was me, we were in something of a hurry and a bit of disarray to be about something. I don't know why we fled in the direction of Central Park, though.
Perhaps we simply fled in whatever direction was most expedient.
It could have been that. And look at this. If it wasn't us, then some vagabonds took a $1 toolkit and left a $30 tuxedo right here in a garment bag.
How silly of them. Well, at least we've found your vehicle, and it seems to be in fit shape to move about the city. Shall I put my bag in the trunk here, or
Oh yes,
would you rather?
yes. Please store your belongings in the trunk, and we'll go back to the park and see how the others are getting on.
Quite right. I don't want to, I'll keep them next to me on the seat here, actually. I don't want to leave them out of my sight.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And we'll put the car in gear and head back in the direction of Central Park.
It's no problem to collect everyone else. And was there anything else you wanted to head before heading down to Boat Road?
I just would like to, as a little experiment, I might try and pop by it tomorrow, so I'm going to leave like a pile of crumbs somewhere, just like maybe under a tree or something, just like a pile of breadcrumbs, and just leave that there.
I'm going to give you the intelligence roll on that.
Ooh.
Okay, yep.
Wow.
I can't see how I would push it, so yeah, no, I will have to leave that.
Someone else can kind of look at what you're doing if you're not being surreptitious and offer input.
Tommy.
Only Olive is with him, right?
Yep.
No, tell me, you can't do it like that. They like it when you do it like this instead. I'll kind of like take a really big piece of bread
Okay.
instead of crumb.
Do you want also to make an intelligence roll about what the
Yes. Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
Cool. There are also raccoons, homeless people, and squirrels in the park. If you leave it on the ground in a tree, it's gone. That will not conduct your experiment.
I mean, no, to be fair, that did confirm at least that not all small mammals.
100%. If that's your experiment.
But
If your experiment was about birds, you would put it somewhere,
birds specifically.
like on one of the statues. Or somewhere that is a little bit more out of the way, which I am very happy to be like, Tommy and Olive can figure out a spot that squirrels can't get to. There's bird feeders and stuff.
Okay. Try and get up somewhere high.
Yeah.
They're gonna climb the Statue of Liberty, aren't they?
Maybe actually by the lake. Then, if there's a statue near that lake,
Yeah.
let's leave a bunch of crumbs on top of that, and then we'll come back tomorrow and see what happens.
Are there ducks and like stuff in the pond or the lake, or is there like literally no birds?
There are no birds.
Okay.
Waterfowl or otherwise. But enough bird watching. We'll leave
Good.
the crumbs on the statue, and
Yep.
we'll meet back up with Raymond and his whip.
Yeah.
We found it, everyone!
Oh man!
You like? I've got a smashed up headlight, but other than that, it's running like a dream. Shall we?
Come
offer-
on, everybody get in.
Pile on in, everyone. Plenty of room.
Yep. Mm-hmm. He's coming in.
Fireman.
Shotgun.
Well, Professor.
The thing back then.
No, I'm keeping that with me, thank you.
No, Professor, she wants your seat.
Oh, of course. I'll sit in the back between Mr. Young and Mr. Cole.
Oh, that was just me.
And Raven will kind of maneuver us in the direction of the Red Bookstore and along the way. Well, did you folks find what you were looking for?
No. Has anyone noticed the complete lack of birds since? And I just point up at the sky.
Do you think that that's a sign where we're in one or not?
I'm sorry, in one what?
I don't know, a fold. If we've been folded. If there are birds, that means something, and if there aren't birds, that means something else.
Oh my gosh, does this mean we can do whatever we want without
No.
consequence because nothing
no,
matters?
it does not. Not at all. Not in the slightest.
I want to rob a bank.
No, we are not doing that.
You're suggesting that we, in fact, are already
I don't.
pulled out of our time and reality?
I don't know.
That's not
Perhaps-
how it feels.
Possibly, what about the birds? Could they have not been pulled out? It certainly would make sense if they were up there when it took place.
Or it could be something as simple as the fact that animals run when there's a forest fire or an earthquake about to occur.
That was actually more where I was leaning, to be honest.
Yeah, but there's
Maybe
still a
they
lot of
can-
animals.
Maybe they can sense the ripple about to happen. Wait, if that's the case, does that mean something's going to happen at Central Park?
Have you noticed birds anywhere else?
Well, there were those
Yeah.
seagulls at the hospital.
Quite
I
right.
wasn't particularly looking for birds at the night of the Black Rabbit.
And there were birds here at Central Park yesterday, behaving extremely strangely. But
There were.
since then,
Now, we're driving away from Central Park, right? Can we see birds? Like pigeons or anything as we're driving by?
or seagulls, we're on Manhattan Island, for goodness sake.
I mean, you can give me spot hidden rolls.
All
Definitely
right.
not without any of those.
Should we all roll?
Sure.
We're really looking for these birds now.
Sure. Everyone can risk a sanity check. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd take the second one.
Let that go. There it is.
That's a sleight of hand, not a spot hidden.
Then I clicked the wrong thing.
No, Herbert, meanwhile, trying to like sneak stuff.
He's got a dove palm.
No. I'm reassembling a rifle.
What about these birds? It's a miracle.
None of you see it.
Let's try again. Here we go.
Not even on just like a regular success.
Not even on regular success. There is evidence that birds have been around not too long ago. There are no birds.
What if it's just the opposite? What if this the coming ripple attracts them? Tommy, did you say something about looking outside of the hotel while we were having dinner with Ernst?
The birds have been playing on my mind since yesterday. I've just been curious about it, and birds are supposed to be smart. They're supposed to have a bit more going on behind the eyes than we give them credit for. So I wanted to maybe try and feed one, see if it's acting strangely. And since then, I've not been able to find a single bird. And considering we were being followed by every bird in Central Park yesterday, I just think that that's noteworthy of some kind.
Yes, quite right.
We did resolve to keep an eye out for birds acting strangely, and a suspicious.
Whoa. Ernst. The birds disappear when Ernst appeared. What if he's controlling the birds?
Is
Well,
They were
He's a
watching
Park?
us. They don't need to watch us anymore because Ernst has us right playing in his game.
Maybe.
I don't think
What?
we can consider any theory implausible at this point.
While we're heading to this bookshop, why would Ernst talk to us if he is, let's just say hypothetically, he is working with his son more than he's giving us credit for, more than he's saying to us? Why would he get us involved? Why would he tell us about it?
Let's say that hypothetically he is in on some plot with his son to do something nefarious. Well, we're a group of people that escaped some kind of ripple and are looking into it, and maybe he just wanted to know what we knew and how close we were to discovering something inconvenient.
Perhaps he
But at the
simply
same
means
time, if those memories are true and we really did try to stop the ritual, then you'd think he'd be less, at least forwardly friendly with us.
perhaps he simply means to put us in a different maze. When you have rats complete some sort of maze for a reward, there is a difference between rats who do complete the maze and rats who do not. If we were the rats who completed the maze, there could be something to glean by placing us in a more complicated one and seeing how we perform. This is all based on a play, no? This ritual is a play. Then perhaps we are simply playing the next scene.
So how do we get out of this maze? Should we just, I don't know, off Ernst?
No, of course not. We're not going to
course
murder
not.
someone, Miss Olive.
I would never
I'm a
suggest
bit
the thing. I'm
shocked,
just
if I'm being honest.
maybe make a man disappear. It doesn't have to be murder. Who said that?
I do believe you said off, and
Off on a
Unless
nice
I am-
vacation
Like off
to
stage.
the river. Yeah.
off stage.
I do think that we perhaps should give Ernst a modicum of credit for providing us with something that granted you the memories of that night. I do believe that if we were to argue from the assumption that he was nefarious, him helping us understand what's going on is helping us to understand what it is that he's doing. And that seems a contradiction.
Did it help us though? Because I kind of wish I never drank the juice.
Are you certain that this juice did anything other than addle your minds for the evening? Perhaps it was some concoction of, I don't know, wormwood and opium and coca leaf all mixed together. There are substances that mankind has been using for millennia to alter the way that their mind works. None of them give you a mystical ability to see the past.
Perhaps not, although our experiences all seem consistent, both with each other and with others who have recollection of the event.
Mm-hmm.
It would be difficult, nay, impossible, for all of our recollections induced by psychoactives to independently produce the exact same result.
The convergence means there's something to it.
Although perhaps it is possible that it simply taps into our shared subconscious of perhaps created by the event.
But
What if we're all dead?
I remembered stabbing someone, and my knife. The drug didn't make my knife covered in blood.
But you had seen the knife before such a recollection, yes?
Yes, and we knew that I had fired my rifle. We knew there was a fire. We knew we all escaped from some horrible event. Perhaps your minds were just set free to imagine the worst.
So you're saying there's a different explanation for why I have stabbed someone and you have shot a lot of bullets?
I'm
And
saying I don't put
why
a
we
lot
were
of
so scared of
stock
the
in
lake.
some imbibed concoction that a stranger none of us had met before the previous evening distributed to each of you, doing what he said it did, especially if we have concerns that he may be reaching out to us for nefarious reasons in the first place.
I think he has nefarious intentions with us. I do believe he knows about these ripples. And so I don't believe he's doing it for good reasons, and I think we should be wary of him, but I do think the concoction is supposed to help us remember. I do think he wants us to know, but I don't know why.
Maybe he thinks we'll help him.
Or maybe he just wants to know how to do what he's trying to do better.
Or perhaps he's preparing us to be some form of sacrifice.
So if anybody wants to, help Ernst take a trip to the river, I'm just gonna leave that option on the table, and you guys can think about it.
The Little Red Bookstore is not hard to find. It has a bright red awning. All of the details around the windows are also a bright red, as well as in the era, especially on Book Row, it's very common to have your pulp or your cheap books are just on shelves and like tables out in the street, and they're all same bright red.
I wonder how the place got its name.
Clearly because of its minuscule size, Raymond.
Perhaps Olive offed someone here.
Told you.
Hence the red.
The doors open in the summer heat, so it's no problem to head inside.
Before we get out of the car, I want to have
Yeah.
a moment. It's like, okay, whether we believe Ernst or not, he expressed that it was difficult for him to acquire this book, or chance, or whatever. Do we think that we need to be somewhat circumspect in our, inquiries? Or do we just go in and ask for it by name?
Yeah, I mean, I
We
think.
know the name.
Well, I know that I'm going to be trying to get a copy of the play that Tabitha's working on, but also...
Of course.
No, in fact, the closest that we have is, I think, a piece of a page torn off. If I'm connecting some dots correctly, then this torn off page of chapter 5 that we have, it might be what we're after. And perhaps someone
I
will
see.
recognize it.
It's possible. Keeper, in my studies of the less mainstream theories of spirituality, am I familiar at all with this bookstore in particular? Are they well known for having such tomes?
They are well known for acquisitions of antique and rare books through means that the university would often be concerned about.
I see.
There is also talk amongst other academics particularly those who are more directly in some of that space, that the owner is rumored to have taken the Moscow gold.
Well, I can say that we are very likely going to be speaking with people who don't hold too closely to the letter of the law. And we should proceed with caution in any event for that reason, if for no other reason. But if there is a rare book of some kind, this is a good place to search for it.
Well then, let's go see a man about a book.
Quite right.
The inside is a warren of shelves and books. It is not well organized. There are books piled up on the floor. They do some are piled up like this, some are stacked. There is a very large table near the front that seems to be serving as kind of the cashier's desk type thing with some chairs around it. There is a very large man, wild hair. It's gone mostly white. Got little tiny glasses, and he's got a cup next to him, with water in it, and he is reading a book it's sort of like alphabet. I don't know if any of you have Russian. Yeah. He's reading a Cyrillic book and looks up and goes, yes. You need book?
Yes, I have a bit of, a challenge for you, I suppose. I'm in a tight spot. I'm looking for the book that this came out of. And he's gonna show him the chapter 5 page. Do you recognize anything about this? This is...
Yes, it's from French book. À côté du monde. It means beside the world.
Oh, do you have a copy?
Do I have a copy? Is a very good question. So, a book like this, very hard to get full book. Many people, they split them up. Very concerning book dealers. Not like Grigor. Sometimes people, they split up a book, they sell it as subsections. They think they get more money. Do not respect the book. A Grigor would never do that. It's bad for book, it's bad, bad for it.
Do I believe that? Or is he just running through a line with me?
I mean, he's not even trying to really lie to you
Okay.
right now, so...
Awesome.
You know... Meh.
Okay, go on.
So is hard book to get? Is expensive book? Grigor doesn't know all things. Best I know is maybe 4 or 5 in all of New York. Maybe all of East Coast.
What if I didn't need to own this particular book? What if I really just wanted to interact with it, perhaps skim it? Do you know of anyone who owns a complete copy?
Grigor is businessman. Part of understanding people buy expensive things. They would not want others to know what they do and do not. It would be very dangerous, very disrespectful, very bad for business for Grigor to let you know.
Grigor.
If and when sells the book to someone. If and when sells copy of a Côte du Monde to someone who lives in New York. It would be very, very, very irresponsible. Very bad business.
Grigor, let me reframe my question just a little bit. I'm interested in offering a business deal to someone, and the really only criteria of that person is that they own a complete copy of this book. And I would be financially grateful to anyone who could put me in communication with someone who fits that criteria. And if that person were to get the permission of the owning party before we were to be put into contact, well, then that's just doing business, isn't it, Gregor?
Do
Do you want me to rephrase my question, Gregor?
Mayhaps.
Gregor, I will pay you to ask somebody who you've sold a copy of this book to if I can read it.
Grigor is not let into fancy society circles that many other people are let in. However, if, for example, you were a member of union, you made donation to cause, maybe it would be not my books to look through, but our books.
I understand. Sure. What are traditional union dues?
Nice. Nice. $40-$50.
Well, I suppose I would be entering into a holy fraternity. Well, Gregor, call me a fish, call me a patsy, but also call me comrade. And he'll pull out his checkbook and write a check for $40.
Okay.
And he'll put it on the table and he'll leave his hand on it. And he'll say, "Our books, right, Gregor?"
Yes, we'll look through all records.
All right. And he'll slide the check across.
Even easier. You pay your dues in good time. Make it even easier for you. He pulls out what looks like just like a mess of an accounts book. He flips through it and he goes, I've only sold one copy. We'll explain detail. What is the little ink blot next to words sometimes? I don't know. Yes.
Asterisk. That's
Yes. I've sold one copy, and he turns her over and shows you. He says, "Had customer made order. Here is order."
And can I take in the details of this order, like when it was placed, who by?
He shows it to you, and it is handwritten.
Is it written in English?
Yeah.
Okay.
You should have the handout now.
Oh. Indeed. Let me just size that to fit somewhere.
You ask when it's from? Is from a few years ago. Another gentleman comes in not long ago. This is the little ink blot. Comes in not long ago. Asks for another copy. Now, Gregor knows sometimes books they fall apart, and you can only have some sections. Those other bad people who don't respect books, they split things up. It makes things harder to deal with.
Gregor, would I be correct in guessing that another, like a portion of this book, would also have its own name, that a chapter heading or something along those lines?
It may, but there's book dealers full of many criminals, many bad people. See Grigor here, for example. A second person comes in, is asking for parts of book. But it's not Grigor's fault. It's not my fault. If from time to time I happen to find from other dealers, from other contacts, that maybe they have a chapter or two here or there and can sell those along. Perhaps, and he pulls out a folio. Perhaps, maybe another a customer expects chapter 7 soon. Perhaps it's something to read through, to consider. A great deal could be determined.
Have there been people recently interested in our books?
Well, it's a very, very important book to mathematics. It's not my area of expertise, but Grigor wouldn't have a chapter 7, would not have sold, and he kind of points to the table and kind of towards you. Chapter 5, if not for someone was looking for.
So if I've got this right, someone comes to you and says, "Gregor, I want you to do business with some criminal, some person who has fouled up a book by tearing a single chapter out of it. I only want that chapter. I want you to find someone who can sell me just that chapter.
What closer would be someone wants Olive Book. Grigor doesn't have Olive Book. Grigor talks to people who may have Olive Book. They may decide makes more money to split book up, sell piece by piece.
Can you sell me any part of the book?
Well, if have chapter 7 like here, you would have to beat even union members have to be able to at least match the pay other party would be giving. However, they do not need book for. They say they want it back for several more days if you want to borrow it. Of course, you would know. Any member of union knows how easy it is for accidents to happen and the importance of ensuring that your union is there to support you.
Could I then borrow for a few days this chapter 7 and bring it back in well before our fellow union member needs it?
Is good.
Just to clarify, the other union member, is this Von C? And I'll point to the paper.
He's not same man from that receipt, but looks a lot like him.
Ah. When's he supposed to be picking up this chapter, so we can get it here in time?
Oh, in a few days. He did not give a specific date and time.
So it's like we can borrow this for a few days as a kind of
As a
few
favor to a
days.
union member.
Yes, at some point, maybe Google needs something from you. This how members of the union work.
And what if one of these horrible accidents that you mentioned were to happen to this chapter 7?
Well, either we would need to find a way to make the situation right as a group, or who's to say what could happen?
We would make amends in some way to deal with the problems that arise from such an accident.
Krieger, you keep such good tabs on all these, organization members. I kind of respect a man like you who is you just strike me as like a leader. And a really good one at that. How you keep... Glad you like that. I'm quite a funny gal. If someone were to need to get in contact with, people looking for parts of this book, how would you contact them? Like, how would you contact us, for example?
Well, I would get information where they would want to be contacted.
So the person who needs these chapters in a few days, what's their contact info?
Well, I could not share it with you without you being a member of the union as well.
Raymond's gonna go out on a limb and say like, "Oh, we know Edmund."
We're gonna need you to roll a fast talk roll.
Oh no, but I'm bad at that. We know him. We'll see how it goes. Where the heck did my character sheet go?
You have a bonus die.
Thank you. It's alphabetical. Yeah, but like, that doesn't make... Okay.
Oh, wow, you are bad at this.
Fast talk can't be a default 5, is it?
You tell me.
I could have sworn that default fast talk was higher.
Can I step in if I see Dr. Fox really fucking this up? Because he's a horrible liar.
He meant to say Edmund, he said Edward.
Well, he doesn't know Edmund. I know Edmund. He's actually listen, I really want to tell you this. I'm pregnant with this baby and I'm looking for him, and this is the only connection I have. So if you want to leave my child fatherless, look at me. Look at me. You wouldn't do that to me.
I mean, the downside was just gonna be another bribe, but okay.
Oh God!
I push that somehow.
As you say that, the professor goes, "Olive, you're pregnant?"
And I'll like rub my stomach. Like, okay.
Keep talking.
With Edmund's child? You said
spend
you'd
luck
never
on
heard
that.
of the man before.
Can I spend luck on a push?
I mean, with her there, Grigor just wants the money. She just wants more money.
Gregor, what's it gonna cost me? What's it gonna
Well,
cost me?
what? I'm giving information to many people. Only have one union dues.
Oh, everybody else, pony up.
I've left my wallet at home. Can you spot me, Dr.
Olive, you're
Fox?
flush. You've been flapping that wad of cash around for hours.
You did mention that you came into a large sum of money recently, Olive.
I accidentally lost that sum of money recently.
Do we think she's telling the
Payback.
truth?
That's an opposed roll.
Do I have to fast talk again?
Fast talk versus what?
Is it? It's
Psychology.
yeah, psychology.
Psychology?
Where is my spending level outlined?
Oh,
On
well,
the sheet.
I don't have any idea. I think that you're pregnant with Edmund's child.
Possessions. That's where.
Yeah,
That's
I
just
lost-
like,
Oh.
what is happening?
Oh yeah, okay, fine, Olive. Fine, I'll spot you. God.
I need to save money for the baby. Can you just spot? I'll pay you back, okay? Thanks.
What were the amounts of these dues?
Oh, Gregor, I imagine.
$40 per person.
Okay. And
Oh, well,
and
I certainly don't have that kind of money, but Mr. Grigor, as a tenured professor at the university, I would be happy to pass along your place of business as a potential preferred resource for books and rare antiquities, if that might help.
Ooh, you can roll me a persuade or a barter or something for that for sure.
I would be happy to roll persuade, because I'm really good at it.
Oh, but still. Many can pay their dues.
Yes, the coffers of the university are quite flush.
Very good, yes. If one were to look for Edmund, perhaps one would look on the third floor of the Benedict building.
A particular room on the third floor?
D.
Room D.
Yes.
Can I see if he's telling the truth?
Oh yeah. He is. That's the address he has on file.
Okay.
You don't need to roll. He just grinded you for the money. He just wants the money. This man is a real lazy spy master for the communists. He doesn't care that much about this.
communist
He's like-
bullshit.
Yeah, he's like, all this, whatever these capitalists are doing, this is fine. This is like,
Do we need anything else from this fine gentleman?
I wouldn't mind looking
yes.
around, actually.
I wanted to ask, do you have any books, particularly the more esoteric, on radio waves?
radio is outside what I usually handle. Would have to ask around if you wanted something where or out there. It's not what I keep in stock usually.
Of course.
Most books here, it's pulp, is dime store novels, is import from Russia.
And French theoretical mathematics.
What?
I see.
And no, I do deal in rare books. I admit that. I don't keep them on the shelf.
I see.
It's to order.
I would appreciate if you could look around.
This I can do for you.
Danke.
So I will note that Chapter 7 has been added to your handouts. That is a mythos tome. So anyone who wants to be studying it over the next period of time, there's a whole mechanical situation for that. But with a lead on where the young Mr. Edmund allegedly lays his hat, and some reading material, I think that's a decent spot to call it for this evening. So, we do the outro. So we've got all of our awesome people continuing to be awesome. We have me pulling the little script over so I'm not doing this. As always, you can come back tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time for Doors and Deities, the Dungeons and Dragons stream, where you're going to be able to see Drew and Kendra being possibly more chaotic than they are here.
If you can believe it.
And you can also come back here, this same time and place, next Tuesday to have the next episode, next soiree, for the Black Rabbit Society. Both of those, the best way to keep up to date is to subscribe. Hit a button.
Yes,
I'm
please.
being told it's that way or that way. One of the ways. Somewhere is a button to press. Also, remember, you have those Amazon Prime specialty books. If you have an Amazon Prime, hopefully we've set some stuff up so it's going to like remind you. Maybe some pop-ups would be nice. Technology. Also, the art, as before, is provided by the awesome Peter Edgar at patreon.com/thedungeonsketcher, all one word. I don't know if capitals matter for this, but it is the first letter of each word is capitalized, or there'll be a link in the show notes. Joel, who played the inimitable Herbert Francis Devenald, runs Ravenloft campaigns as a professional dungeon master. You can find him at StartPlaying.Games/GM/leonidas-games. Again, the link will be in the WD-book. He does awesome stuff, like he uses the same Syrinscape thing that I'm using, but he uses it better than I do. He doesn't have it all of a sudden warn you that like something is community content where you don't know where it's coming from. You don't know which thing it's been posted. Like, it's supposed to be just the music that you tested earlier, and it's all of a sudden like, no, I'm a different song.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a long scam on your side, and that's actually going to come back into the story at some point, and we're all going to go crazy because of it.
Oh, I wish I was that good.
So let's all forget about it.
All that, so you can check that out. I think those are the big ones. A little bit of a new thing is you awesome wandering souls who watch these. I had a little bit of a question for you, because we're going to start asking kind of questions for some feedback and some ideas at the bottom. We were trying out the art, which is mostly taken from the Met Gallery this time. It's all public domain stuff. Did you like that? Did you like it kind of being the more artistic style? Did you want something else there? We'd love feedback either on our socials or in the Twitch chat. And thank you all again, because I found out we had like a couple of really big... Are they donations technically for this? What are they called?
Yeah, last
proper Twitch
stream
term.
we got 50 gifted subs.
50
Thanks
gifted
again on
subs.
my way, and yeah, so that's really fun and exciting. So we'll be
From
getting
one
some,
gifter?
yeah.
Wow.
It was a
thank you,
challenge.
whoever
I
that
had
was.
to meow 10 times without being caught, and nobody called me out on it. And
Nice.
so yeah, it's a challenge. I accepted. So we'll be
Nice.
commissioning some emotes. Maybe if you guys have some ideas, you can follow our link tree. Pop some ideas in the Discord, Twitter, Instagram, all the places.
Yeah, and yeah, that's where we're at right now. Thank you all so much. He continues to be awesome. You all continue to be awesome. Everything continues to be awesome.
You're awesome too, Tyler.
Ah!
Eh.
My hair managed to stay mostly under control. As we talked about before you all started watching us, the humidity in my basement right now is like somewhere in the 80 to 90% range. The dehumidifier is going to kick on after this to start pumping water out of the air because I live on the coast, and that is my life.
Fantastic.
But I think it's time to jazz hands our way
It's-
out of here.
Ah, yes.